Good afternoon, everyone. Here to talk about sermon this coming week. And this coming Sunday, we will embark on a new sermon series, which is entitled Return from Exile, A Better Normal. One of the things that COVID-19 has done, it has changed the nature of the world in which we live. It has changed the nature of church and how we've been together or not been together in some cases. But we've been together in spirit all along. But as we are gradually navigating back and getting more and more people back in worship on Sunday mornings, thought it would be appropriate to think about a scriptural narrative that would give some connection to our own experience coming back from, or gradually coming back from the COVID-19 pandemic. A biblical theme that kind of resonates, I think that speaks to this experience, is the return from exile. When God's people were cast into exile, and then they eventually had an opportunity to return back to Jerusalem. What that return to Jerusalem was like after being in exile for a long time. On this first Sunday of the series, I'll be looking at a Psalm. Psalm 84 is our opening text to this series of Return from Exile. And I think this opening text, this opening reflection passage for this series is important. The psalm is given a title, and most of the psalms didn't have title, were added later. But I think the title itself, even though it was added later, has a little bit of validity to what we're experiencing with this return from exile. It's called The Joy of Worship in the Temple. And the opening verse of Psalm 84 says, "How lovely it is to be in your dwelling place, O Lord of hosts." Many people have commented, of those that have had opportunities to come to worship in the sanctuary, of how lovely it has been to be in the sanctuary again. That people didn't realize how meaningful, they knew it was a meaningful space. They didn't realize how meaningful it was until they had a chance to return after such an absence of being in that place. And Psalm 84 acknowledges the power of sacred spaces and how they shape us, how they form us, and how they call us to be community. In one sense, it's just a building. And then again, when God's people gather in one place and we worship God, there's something about that space that becomes holy ground that's different than other spaces. So that return from exile is the acknowledgement that certain spaces define us, invite us, call us. It's where we find our being. And one of the returns from exile is God's people came back to Jerusalem, was an opportunity to think through what the temple had meant to them and what the temple will mean for them going forward, just like our sanctuary does. So I hope you'll join us as we begin this new series for Return from Exile, as we look at the psalm and as we celebrate the holy ground that is St. Andrew. I hope you'll join us on Sunday.